Pick Show network liked our pilots. They picked us up. It's a very fucking prestigious network. You've probably never heard of it, but you know, we have, because we work for them now. So you may notice some slight changes in the show. We got some mics now, so you can actually understand what the fuck we're saying, because before this point, our fucking producers over there didn't know how to fucking do audio. Sound like shit. So maybe our next guest, you'll be able to understand what he's saying. His name is Chazz Daniels, and he's lead singer for The Outer Waves, best known for asking people if they're pizza, and I guess he could come on in now.
Hey, Pick. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, man. It's good to have you on the show. You're our first guest in our new and improved Pick Show with actual audio, and the set's been improved a little bit. Still looks like shit, but, you know. Are you excited to be on the Pick Show?
I'm very excited. I've been looking forward to this ever since the first episode of the original series.
So you've seen your friends and comrades and bandmates on the show before, so
Yes.
I'm sure you're familiar with how the show works.
I'm pretty familiar. I'm ready to take whatever abuse you have for me.
Sexual abuse?
Yes. I said any kind of abuse.
All right, well, we'll see where things go. All right. So, this show's improvised. That's why it sucks really hard. Because you have to be good and talented to do improv, and I'm not either of those things, but I'm basically going to ask you some questions about your involvement in the Outer Waves and how you like, you know, your job and your sort of position. So,
all right, let's go for it.
First of all, I kind of touched on this a little bit with Barbecue Jeremy and fucking Peter Platinum. I couldn't even fucking remember his shitty fucking name. So, how did you find yourself into the Outer Waves? Like, how did you kind of...
Well, I've known Barbecue since, I'd say, about 3rd or 4th grade. I was not a musician at the time, but once 8th grade rolled around...
I'm sorry, you weren't a musician at the time?
No.
Well, that would imply you're a musician now, which, in my opinion, you aren't. When do you think you became a musician?
Well, in my intellectual property, I like to believe I am a musician. So that's your opinion, sir. But, as I was saying...
Is it my opinion or is it my property?
As I was saying, I started playing guitar around 6th grade. Actually, me, Jeremy, and Peter, the three of us, played in Jeremy's garage, and that was my quote-unquote first gig.
Yeah, that was a gig.
So,
playing in a
right.
garage is a gig.
So after that, I was playing sports at the time, kind of went on my own way. Jeremy was in what the band was known at the time as Arkhaven. And once, I guess, sophomore year rolled around, I had Jeremy in a class and mentioned that he needed a singer. And I had not performed or sang anything since that 8th grade time in his garage. But I thought I'd give it a shot because I was always kind of looking for a band and kind of do something like that. So that's kind of how I got involved about 3.5 years ago.
So you mentioned Arkhaven, which was kind of the precursor to the Outer Waves. It's always, I'm familiar with the name change and everything, and it's always amazed me how you had a name, Arkhaven that just really, really sucked, and you changed your name, and you somehow changed it to a name that was even shittier than what it was.
Mm-hmm.
How did that decision come about?
Well, it's not all about the name and what it is and what it means. It's about how you brand yourself, which I think we do very well by the help of our 2 managers. So it's not the name itself.
The one who constantly is shoplifting, and the other one who's blackout drunk in Columbus all the time.
Hey, it's we don't like to bring personal things into the business world. We'll leave it at that.
Well, this isn't the fucking business world. This is the Pick Show. So that's how shit works here.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Don't insult my fucking set, you cunt. All right. So, I guess I would call you the lead singer, but I think anybody who's worked with you know knows that you do other things as well. You play guitar.
Yes.
And I talked a little bit, like I said, with Jeremy and Peter about their instruments of choice. So what kind of guitars do you have? What have you had in the past? What's your favorite? Can you tell me about a little bit of that?
Well, yes. In the past, I've actually owned a lot of guitars, more than I actually can remember sometimes. Currently, I have a 2016 Gibson Les Paul Traditional, and a
the ones that the headstocks break off of.
Yes, if you don't take care of them, which barbecue does not do. Mine is not broken because I do take care of mine, but I have that, and I have the 2000. I have a 2012 model of a 1952 reissue of the Fender Telecaster. So those are my two right now, and those are actually the two of my two favorites I've ever owned before. I used to have a Fender Stratocaster, but some fucking cunt took that away from me at one point. So.
Oh, I figured.
But we'll leave that in the past. What's now is now. The Les Paul I enjoy very much.
Well, I figured you would have gotten rid of the Strat because it wasn't good enough for you, considering you're a fucking fantastic guitarist, right? I mean.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
I mean, if I do have one criticism, I will say that typically I'd expect a guitarist to be able to know how to restring guitars, and it seems like you kind of don't know how to do that.
Well, you know, we all have our strengths and weaknesses as musicians.
Right, and some of us have more strengths and some of us have more weaknesses. I'd say you lean kind of towards the latter there with, you know. Well, I mean, I mentioned how you do a lot of different things. One of the things you do a lot is fall over. I mean, you're pretty good at that.
I am pretty good at that. There's a lot of footage.
If the editors fucking do a good job, maybe they'll edit in all the clips that we have of you falling over.
Oh, that sounds like a challenge for the editors.
I mean, you told me that you take care of your Gibson, but
I do.
I mean, I've seen you fall with your other guitars and almost break them and break your fucking legs and shit, so.
But I have not.
Is there a show you haven't fallen over at?
The last one, the one before that. Oof.
So do you fall over most of the time because you're shit-faced drunk or just because you suck?
Well,
Hard question, I know.
Those can intertwine with each other. I'd say the last time I fell was because I was wearing sunglasses in a pitch black venue.
Why would you wear sunglasses if you weren't outside? That's fucking retarded.
Well, you know, only a douchebag would know that.
Anyway. You are kind of in terms of the live performances, you're kind of the voice of the Outer Waves. You talk to the crowd, you tell them what's going on.
Sure.
You ruin the songs by telling them what they are before you play them and that kind of sort of thing.
Right.
So, does that, in itself, does that present any sort of challenge for you?
It's a good question, and before I touch on that answer, I will say that sometimes I have to let the audience know what the name of the song is because they don't fucking know what our songs are because nobody knows who we are.
Right, except that you do it with the covers, which people do know.
Yeah, well, we already got their money. I don't give a shit.
We're gonna play Bark of the Moon.
To answer your question, Pick, it may have a little bit of a challenge. Sometimes you'll go in there kind of having a little phrase in your head or key words to remember in between songs to touch on a subject and kind of go into a topic of what you're going to talk about or whatever. But most of the time it's just whatever the hell's in your head and whatever you're thinking, especially if you are...
Fuck! Who the fuck is playing the fucking theme song right now? Did somebody come in? Did somebody leave?
Especially if you are intoxicated on stage.
Mr. Daniels, I'm sorry. Our fucking staff are just... God damn it.
That's okay. I didn't get phased by it. It seems like you did, though.
Yeah, well, I have a fucking reputation to kind of upkeep, and my reputation doesn't suck like yours because
Okay, yeah.
I'm not a piece of shit like you are.
Right.
So
It's okay. Maybe show business isn't your thing. It's okay, though.
Oh.
As I was saying, sometimes the alcohol can very much influence what you say in between songs, and it comes out.
I mean, especially
turns
when
into
you down
some
a
good
fucking
material.
12-pack before you go on stage.
I wouldn't say that.
I mean, I can't really tell by ear, but when you leave the venues and you're carrying a backpack and all I hear are fucking empty cans rattling around in it.
You know what that sound is? That is a sound of a successful Outer Wave show.
All right, fair enough. So you've got a couple signature phrases, and I mean, if you used more than one, I'd probably be able to bring them up too. But the only one I can fucking think of is the Little Caesars Pizza one, which I meant to ask you about that, by the way. Are you looking forward to being sued by Little Caesars Pizza? Do you have like lawyers and people lined up for that, or is it just kind of a you're gonna cross that bridge when you come to it?
Yeah, actually, I do have a lawyer set up for that. It is actually I believe the lawyer that Devin Wolf had set up when she was going to sue us for our logo.
Ah,
so
right,
we'll see what happens there with Little Caesars and what their party wants to do on those terms.
I know the Outer Waves aren't the most, they don't have the most integrity, but I figured they'd be above stealing. Stealing your logo, stealing equipment from other bands, stealing from the venues.
What have we stolen from other bands? On purpose. That we didn't give back.
On purpose. Using that fucking excuse, are we?
Yeah.
I mean, you stole the fucking propane heater from one of the venues.
Oh, Jesus. I was not informed of that. So, anyway, anything else about the phrases, or...
Well, I mean, how do you come up with the stuff you say on stage? Like, do you just...
I honestly do not remember where the Little Caesars thing came from.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I did remember, but I don't. But it's good, and it's actually turning into a pretty cool thing, because a lot of people that I don't really know too well actually will like scream that shit at me when I'm at like a party or something or somebody's house.
All your friends who are very, responsible members of society who totally don't spend all their time just being shit-faced to the point they can't even speak.
Right. Absolutely.
So, do you think you're ever gonna replace your kind of main catchphrase? Do you think it ever is gonna get stale, or do you just plan on using it at literally every show for the fucking rest of your career? Which I'm sure, to be fair, it won't be that long of a time.
Right.
Before your career
definitely
goes
not.
in the shitter. But I mean,
right.
I guess in that time, are you still gonna use that phrase at every show?
Or? I would like to. I'd like to make that a thing. And also, a couple weeks ago, me and Mr. Don Burns, the manager, we went on what was it, Noun Generator? Typed in a noun or two, and then how long has that been out? Oh, okay. Should we just wrap it up now?
No, I've got shit to say still.
All right.
You're already like a lot. Fuck it.
All right, fuck. All right, I'll try to. God damn it, you fucking assholes made me lose what the fuck I was gonna fucking say.
Just go off the rails and start fucking hurling insults.
Don't fucking tell me what to do, Peter, you fucking cunt.
Bye.
Mr. Daniels, I'm kind of surprised I got you to come on the show, actually. My staff were telling me we're gonna have to wrap it up because they didn't put fucking fresh batteries in their camera. Just, great fucking staff. I mean, I can't say enough good things about them. They fixed the lighting this time. It's shining in my fucking eyes a little less than last time, so that's one thing. But I was surprised I was able to get you on the show because it's hard for the band to even get you to come to the shows because, I mean, I guess that you'd just rather be sleeping.
Yes. I like being alone.
I hear that a lot of the time, as opposed to playing the shows or going to the practices, you kind of just want to go home, swallow a bottle of Jack Daniels or... No, I'm sorry, you can't drink Jack Daniels anymore, can you? Did you puss out of drinking liquor and you can only drink cheap, shitty beer now?
I wouldn't call it pussing out. I'd call it probably almost having to go to the hospital, but too afraid to tell my mother.
But you don't think you being afraid makes you a pussy bitch?
Afraid of death Probably not.
Afraid of telling your mom. Mommy, I fucked up and drank too much. Help me, please, so I don't die.
Not fear of that, but fear.
Oh,
of,
I'm just using
fear
air
of
words.
disappointment. So I thought we had to wrap up this show.
I'll wrap it up when I fucking feel like it, sir.
Oh, that sounds like my cue.
All right, get the fuck out of here.
Thanks for having me on the show,
Yeah.
Pitt.
You're welcome.
Fucking asshole.
Get on my foot. It's good to have you. Thanks, me. Yeah, we go. All right. Drive home safe.
Future things.
Should keep going?
That actually was an accident. I just
I
set
thought he
down
was
my
actually-
drink near the CD player. That happened.
Future things. Don't clink your can down a lot.
Loud as fuck.
Every time it
Keep going.
spikes.
I mean, he's still at the table. He didn't leave yet.
Okay, okay.
What was so funny?
Because Pick stole the propane tank.
He's blaming us for stealing the heater.
Oh my god.
You want to just get right into the Banana Joe one?